All right. It says we are preparing to live stream the webinar.
It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. All right. We are indeed live. Awesome. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome. Okay, let me set everything up here. Oh, we can see everybody. Let's go ahead and share my screen. Okay, sweet. All right. Hi, guys. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and thanks everyone who's watching on YouTube Live right now. Welcome to the Actualize Online West Capstone Showcase presentation. My name is Danny Zoghian. I am the lead instructor for the cohort whose projects you are about to see right now. One of the best parts about my job as the lead instructor at Actualize is that I get to work with some of the most motivated people. And these guys have all built projects from the ground up. They have learned web development fundamentals over the past 4 months, and they have built applications from scratch that they are about to demo to you today. And not only that, but Actualize is a part-time coding bootcamp, which means that a lot of these students, it's designed for people who have full-time jobs. So a lot of these students actually have a 9-to-5 full-time job that they work at, and they come here to Actualize 3.5 hours a day, and they spend a good portion of their time working on skills and learning to become a web developer. So these guys are really motivated. They are learning the developer mentality, which is that I'm teaching them how to teach themselves. That is the most important skill that you can learn as a developer, is how to teach yourself new things. And many of tonight's presentations are actually going to use this mentality. Many of the presenters are using this mentality to implement technologies into their applications and into their projects that I haven't directly taught them how to use. So they went out, they learned a new technology, they learned and taught themselves something new, and they implemented it into their project, which I'm super proud of. So with all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to introduce Jay Wengro, who is the founder, CEO. He built Actualize from a single class that started out in Chicago to now a coast-to-coast programming school. Now, Jay is not just an administrative CEO, but he's really actively involved in the teaching side of what we do at Actualize. And his passion for education touches all of the instructors, and it's totally contagious. So with all that being said, without further ado, Jay, go ahead and take it away.
Cool. Thank you, Danny. Yeah, a lot of what I have to say simply echoes what Danny said, which is that what you're going to see here tonight is the product of extraordinary people who have devoted the time, the mentality. Like Danny said, a lot of them work a 9-to-5 job. So imagine learning to code, which to many people is akin to learning rocket science, on the side at night after a full day's work. These people have dedicated themselves to an extreme in achieving the goals that they've set out to do. So we're extremely proud of them. I'm super excited to see all their projects. Generally, when I see the Capstone projects of the Actualize graduates, there's always something in each one that has an element of something I've never seen before. And that's what's really cool about the Capstone projects, is that each grad has chosen something that they're interested about. Their project revolves around their hobby, their past experiences, and it always contains something new and exciting. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all of them.
Awesome, thanks, Jay. Okay, and so tonight we have all of our presentations are going to happen. Each student is going to present for about 5 minutes, and then our awesome panel, who I'm about to introduce to you guys, is going to ask us a couple of questions about each project. So our panel tonight is going to include, of course, Jay, our CEO. Our panel is also going to include Chelsea Troy, who I'm going to allow to introduce herself to everybody right now.
Hi, so my name is Chelsea Troy. I'm an Actualize grad. I was in cohort 1. The very first cohort here in Chicago in a co-working space called 1871. That was in 2014. Since then, I've been working as a developer. I worked as a software engineering consultant at Pivotal Labs for about 2.5 years. And now I'm working at a reg tech startup called Ascent Technologies, also here in Chicago.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chelsea. And our last panelist is going to be Colleen McGuckin. So I'll allow her to introduce herself as well.
My name's Colleen McGuckin. I went to, I believe, Jay's last class that he taught himself in 2015. And since then, I've been working as a developer at various startups in Los Angeles. And I'm really excited to be here and see everyone's projects.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Colleen. And now, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into our presentations for the night. So again, like I said, we have 9 students who are presenting tonight. The first student who's going to be presenting is Kathleen. So Kathleen, go ahead and take it away. The stage is yours.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kathleen Domingo. I am an accountant slash auditor by training and now a web developer. One of my many interests is traveling, so I created a travel application called Taravel. I came up to this idea months ago when my boyfriend showed me a worksheet of an itinerary. Yeah, a worksheet. I mean, it's okay. I just thought there has to be a better, easier, prettier way of planning trips. We know there are already a ton of travel apps out there, but most of them seem complicated to use. So I initially envisioned this project to be like a Pinterest Trello hybrid, just a simple application with boards where users can save links of their trip ideas and share them to friends. It ended up looking more like Trello, which I'm happy about. And I'm really excited to show you what I've worked on for the last couple of weeks. So let's jump right in. You can sign up easily. As you can see, it only asks for username, email, and password. So almost all links in my app lead you to modals or pop-ups like this one, which were kind of tricky to implement at first, but I've learned to love it along the way. So for this presentation, I'm just going to use my account. And so let's log in. So here's my trip index page. I know it looks so clean and simple, but this is exactly how I wanted it to look like. So as you can see here, the trips are sorted based on dates with countdowns, and the trips without dates are just added in the end. So we can try to add a trip here just to show you how it works. So let's just say I want to go to Philippines. So add trip, and then it has no date, so it's added right here. And then I'm just gonna click this NYC trip. And just to show you the trip show page, and as you can see here, here's the trip information. Here are the trip options. You can click this icon here that shows the summary of your boards. You can edit this trip. You can also delete it if you want, and there's a delete confirmation, and we absolutely want that there. We have the add board button, and then so boards are where you can add items or links in. These have categories that I think would be useful for trip planning. If you're into planning trips, you would probably want to group all your food ideas in one section like this. So I have a long list of sweets here, and then all the activities in another section like this. So let's add a new board for my NYC trips. Let's just put pizza. Category food and drink, and then it's right here. And then let's just add an item. Let's call it pizza list. And then I have a link here ready. Let's copy that and then put them here. Have a little description, like, I don't know, it was written last month, so October 17, so that I know that it's updated. And so it's added here. So when you click this one, it just shows you the information that I just added a while back. And then there's a link here that you can click, which directs you to the website that we just checked out. So there are options here. You can edit this, which leads you to another model. You can move this item to another board if you meant to put it somewhere else. And then there's also a delete button, which also leads you to a confirmation box. So I also wanted to be able to move the items and boards around just like in Trello, and I was able to do it like this. I can sort the items. So for now, everything goes back to its normal position, or original position when I refresh the page. So it's not perfect. I'm working on it, but I still think my app is awesome, even if I don't have this feature. So it's okay. So yeah, I also added this feature at the very last minute before we do the code freeze. So it's just a summary of all the boards. So this app, okay, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kathleen. Woo, snaps. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the panel for a couple minutes of questions.
Yeah, so Kathleen, this is an awesome project. It's really cool to see Trello and a Trello-like implementation. How did you achieve, I know when you refresh the page, it goes back to the original position, but how did you achieve the drag and drop functionality, at least on the front end?
Yeah, I use jQuery for sortable and draggable features here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
I have something.
Mm-hmm.
First, I'd like to confirm your approach on the jQuery sortable. I just did something very similar to this in a customer application and pushed it to prod. And that's exactly what I used as well. So I agree with your choice, for better or worse. I have a question about your modals. How did you implement those? Was that also JavaScript?
No, I just use Bootstrap for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
What did you think was the most challenging part? I know you mentioned that at first the modals were kind of hard to get to pop up, but did you have anything else that you felt like you really nailed and overcame over the course of your project?
Yes, it was really hard working on working with nested forms. So as you can see, inside this strip model, I have to put this board models, and then I have to put the items inside this board. So it was kind of difficult to debug at first, but I learned a lot in this process, and that's what's important.
Cool. It looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a really fantastic project, Kathleen. It's super impressive.
Yay, thank you.
All right, sweet. Thank you so much, Kathleen. It was awesome. Yeah, Kathleen has a lot of nested data all happening on a single page. So there's a lot of complex stuff that she's dealing with there. So great job on that. All right. So the next student that I have presenting tonight is going to be Jose. So Jose, the floor is yours.
Well, yeah, I had to unmute myself, of course. There you go. Okay, so okay, let's start. Hi, my name is Jose Poyoli. I'm an electrical engineer and I work for a medical device company doing software implementation. That's where I started getting all interest about, the web applications that I was working on and web development. And I really wanted to go deeper and, hopefully make a move to web development. So I have a side project that I have other people working on. It's for a fantasy soccer site. And one of the features was, people paying, fees into their fantasy sports leagues. Like, you go into your league, you put in some money, and whoever wins the league gets the money at the end of the league. So that's what my application is supposed to do. So I'm gonna go here and I'm just gonna demo how that goes. And if you try to create a league first, it's gonna tell you that I have to sign in, of course. Then so I'm gonna sign in and just gonna create league for today, then, I got to choose the deadline of when people need to pay by, and just the fee of, that everybody needs to pay to be able to participate in the league. So once you go in here, then, it'll take you to the main league, and here, everybody can keep track of who has paid or how much they have paid. And the admin, can edit information here and, invite people over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to send an invitation to another user so they can join right now. I'm using a code that they can enter in the page. So I'm going to put that code, but I'm already in the league, so it's not going to let me do it. So I'm just going to sign in with a different user and get in that new league that I just created. So let's go. Oh, of course, I entered the wrong password. So they just tell me that's not correct. I'm going to enter the right password here. I'm with a new user. He hasn't joined any leagues yet. So he's just going to go in and, make sure that he gets the code from the admin and join the league. And now you can see, that was me, the admin, and that's the person, that just joined, and some of the information that was only available for the admin is not available anymore. Then he can come in here, and try to make a payment. So the fee for the league is 50, but let's say, he doesn't have $50 right now. He just want to make sure that, he starts adding money into the league, and then the league is going to tell him, okay, now, the admin comes in and you can check, I already put, Miguel put $25 into the league. So if I go and make another payment, I'm just going to finish paying what I have left. That's just my test credit card. Don't try to use it anywhere else. It's not going to work. So, okay, I'm finishing paying the rest of it. And there you go. Now I have $50. You can see that it was a split payment. And now you can tell that, it's paid, and that's all going to what the admin's account, the account that the admin is set up. A last thing, let's say if somebody paid in cash, and, they didn't want to go in, they have some theories that they don't want to use credit cards in their life or stuff like that. So I can come here, and the admin can say, if they receive the money in cash, he can come in here and make sure, that at the payment, okay, well, I got paid in cash. And now you can see, that the status is paid, and he can go back to the league and, make sure that everybody has paid so far. Okay, and that is it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jose. Woohoo! Yay. Everyone's clapping, but you can only see me clapping. So my clapping is for everybody. Great work. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to open up questions to the panel now. So panel.
Yeah, someone else go first instead of me.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you use to get your credit card processing to work?
Yes, I use a gem from a paying company that's called Stripe. Cool. So they developed this gem that you can use in many platforms. So they have one straight for Ruby. So I installed the gem and follow their instructions into how to implement it in my site.
Awesome.
Cool. This is a fantastic app, Jose. It's really, really impressive. I think it's the first fantasy league app I've seen that doesn't have to do with the teams and players. So this is a really clever idea. I was also going to ask about the Stripe API. You mentioned the instructions that came with the gem. Did you find that the documentation was well written and easy to follow, or did it take a lot of playing around, messing around with until it worked?
Well, it depends. Like, I mean, there were some articles that I found that initially were very simple, but then, you know, the more that you want to do, you know, the more complicated it gets. One thing that I really wanted to make, I just didn't get the time, was to get payouts. Like, you know, once you get everybody, once you select the winner, then, you know, you use the same application to transfer the money to that winner. So that would be very cool to implement after this.
Yeah. When the totals display there on the screen that you're on now, is that pulling it from your database or is it pulling it from the Stripe API?
That's actually pulling it from my database. Like, I send the information to Stripe, but I wanted to keep the information of payments within the application. So I made, you know, I save the payments every time on the database.
Cool. Awesome. This is a really, really impressive app, Jose.
Thanks, eh?
Cool. Awesome work, Jose. Thank you so much. All right. And our next student to present is going to be Tram. Tram, go for it.
Hi, my name is Tram, and I'm currently working as an event planner. Originally, I went to school for accounting, and I didn't really care for accounting. I've spent the past couple of years working in event management and in construction management. And most recently at work, they had me run some files and build some reports, and that was when I kind of got more into coding, and I spent the past 9 months or so learning on my own. And it's just, this program has really helped me with that as well too. So my idea for my app is called Fast Finds. And basically, we're all really busy people. Like, I'm a busy person. So I eat fast food quite a lot more than I'd like to admit to, but I do. And sometimes I just want to know what's on the menu, or like if they have a new menu item. But a lot of times, all the different menus for McDonald's, for Arby's, for In-N-Out, they're all over many different websites, and you may not want to, or may not have the patience to go through all the website. So I wanted to create a website where you would be able to look up the menus. I didn't want to read reviews like you would read on Google or on Yelp. I know what the environment's going to be like. I know what the ambiance is. I just want to know, do they have something that's delicious and awful and new? Like, for example, is the McRib back? Those are things that get me excited. So that's how I came up with this idea. Basically, it will implement a map idea that I haven't yet implemented into the app, but I'd like to be able to do keyword searches and use the user's IP address in order to find the location of the restaurants. That's a function that I'm currently still working on. And you can use the app with or without an account. If you sign up for an account, it basically will just help save your preferences. And you would also need an account in order to put user posts. Sometimes there's limited deals in certain regions and certain areas that really only function in that area. So that's why I wanted to do the user deals. And here's my app. Like I said, it's called Fast Finds. And let me just show you the user deals page where you would be able to look up some deals. Like last year, Arby's launched a venison burger that was only available in like Michigan and I think in like the greater Chicago area. And this year they've brought it back to all 50 states. That's pretty exciting. If you didn't know, now you do. The users would be able to post and then respond to the post and then basically say, you know, whether or not it was available at certain locations or not. And once you're logged in, then you can go and you can, let me show you. I'm still logged in. you can create a new account, you can log in and just basically be able to update your preferences and your zip code. And just be able to update things like your posts. In your profile page, you'll be able to have a picture and basic information about who you are and your phone number and zip code, basically just so that way you can be able to do searches in the future. And if you edit, then you can upload a photo of yourself if you wanted to, or change the photos that you have. And some trials and tribulation with this app was definitely being able to find a big enough category of all the food products out there. I think I might possibly just seed my own database instead of using this API from Nutrinix, because it's mostly nutritional data that it provides for me. And the data is very generic. Like it will just give you the basic data that it is a burger and what the information is. But I want more of the actual menu information of different restaurants and different places. So that's something that I'm going to continue to work on and implement for the future, to add in that specific menu for specific locations.
Cool. Thank you so much, Tram. All right. We're going to go ahead and open up to panel to ask a few questions. So go ahead.
Hey, Tram, this is a really cool project, and I think this just might ruin my diet, so thank you for that. I know this is picking on a very specific feature, but in regards to uploading a new photo, are you using like a gem to achieve that, like carrier wave or paperclip? How do you do the upload picture functionality?
For the upload picture functionality, I was able to find a gem to be able to do that and store it. That was something that was a new feature that I found. So I haven't implemented that to be able to categorize all the photos, but I've thought that it would be something really nice, especially if you wanted to add into your reviews and I want to implement it there too. You can, upload a photo of the actual food item that you're eating, because sometimes that would be really helpful.
Cool.
Hey, Trim.
Hey.
Congratulations on your graduation. This is an awesome project. I'm wondering which feature that you've implemented in the app so far did you find the most challenging to implement?
The most challenging actually was I spent the most amount of time trying to find an API to implement into this. That was the most challenging. And I could definitely see why I don't think anyone's done this before. Like Nutrinix has their own that they're trying to implement as well, but that was the biggest challenge. And just kind of ran out of time trying to find the correct one.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Thanks.
Okay. Any last questions? No, we're okay. All right. Sweet. Thank you so much, Tram. All right. And the next student that I have presenting is Marcy. Marcy, you are up.
Hey guys, I'm Marcy, and my application is called Self-Pay Rate. I have a background in healthcare, and my application is focused on something I'm passionate about, which is healthcare. So what this is, it's a resource for patients who are uninsured, so they can negotiate their hospital bills, because they'll often find that their hospital bills are insanely expensive. If you've ever received a hospital bill where you're like, what are these rates? Why is it like this? So this is trying to help with that and add a little transparency. Currently, the Republican senators are trying to push for a repeal of the individual mandate for the Affordable Care Act. That would result in 13 million people being uninsured in a span of over 10 years. So this is important to me, and I'm going to get right to it. If you click here on patients, this takes you to the app, and it's a little bit why you would want to negotiate your bill. And what I'm using are Medicare's reimbursement rates. So there is no API for Medicare's reimbursement rates. I pulled those rates from a flat file on a government website that looks like this. It's over 900,000 rows of data that I imported into a relational database. So you can enter in your CPT code and your location, and I will give you Medicare's reimbursement rate for that location and that code. And why this is useful, you can go to your hospital and say, hey, Medicare would pay this amount. Private insurance would probably pay around 30% more than that. Why am I being charged over 200% of Medicare's rate, which is actually what happens a lot of the time. So I'll go ahead and demo this. We'll go ahead and enter in my zip code. Let's say a date of service of October 12th. And hospital, I have Google Places here, so you don't have to type in the whole thing. Just go Kaiser. And the amount billed, these are real amounts, and we'll see the real Medicare amounts as well. So $216 for a emergency department visit, and $272 for an application of a forearm splint, and that code is 29125. Just a little bit about CPT codes. Not all hospital bills include these codes, so sometimes you need to contact your hospital and say, hey, I also need the procedure codes for what was performed before you'll pay. And I actually bring that up over here too. And we'll submit this. And this is giving you a comparison. Here's your procedure code. This is what the hospital charged you. And this is what Medicare pays. This is the difference between these two amounts. These are real amounts that local hospitals have charged for these procedures. So you would go ahead and say, add to letter. You'll generate a letter to Kaiser Permanente. Go generate letter. And here's a letter. You can go my address. You can add your name here to the bottom. And again, you're just telling your hospital, hey, I did the research. Here's the difference. I'd like to receive a discount on my bill. And you can go ahead and print this. And you can print it, save it, whatever you want to do with it. You can even email it. That's an option as well. I also have a provider side to the site. In case a provider wants to be transparent about their costs, I'll go back to the home screen. So you can start here at providers. And if you want to sign up as a provider, you can click here. You can go over here, click here. And it's kind of the same thing. You put in the zip code for where you are operating out of and a codes that you use often. And a little bit about what it means to be a self-pay provider. So you agree to pay the self-pay rate, which is just Medicare's non-facility rate plus 15%. And you can come and go as you please. It's just, you can make it so it depends on maybe your patient volume. And as far as signing up, I implemented this NPI gem that I found, which was very useful. So all providers have a national provider identification number. They all have it. They all have it pretty much memorized by heart. So I will enter in my old bosses. 6391. Okay, I'll click continue. And my old boss, Mohammed Rashid, this automatically fills in a lot of the information for him. If he had an address change or some other additional information, he could change it on the screen. And if you want to enter in your specialty, I also created this awesome pleat thing that will complete it for you. So there's really minimal amount of work on the provider side. I know how providers don't like to do that stuff. So we'll just give them an email. And this active is whether you're going to show on the screen as an active provider. And I'll show you what that screen looks like right now. So if you're a patient and you're looking for a self-pay provider, you get this screen. You can sort by your zip code. I found this amazing zip code API that actually gives you all the zip codes within a zip code. It just returns an array of zip codes. So I'm getting all of the providers that are in my San Francisco area. If I want to make it 25 miles instead, that other one goes away. I also have a refresh button here. You can search by specialty, or you can sort last name. Some future things I'd like to implement. I would like, you don't know, behind the scenes, I'm actually collecting the data from the user right here. I'm not creating a login, but I am collecting your CPT codes and the amount billed and where you had that procedure done. I'm collecting that information. I'd like to use it in the future for even more transparency as far as healthcare costs. There are nonprofits that are currently working, and they would probably accept my API if I were to send them and say, hey, I have user data here where they said they were charged this much for this procedure at this hospital. So I just want things to be as transparent as possible, and I would like costs to be considerably lower. So that was the point of this. I also have another feature that I didn't get to implement. Let's see. And it involved Twitter. Obviously, I don't have any design here. It involved Twitter. I used a drug API. So you can type in a couple letters for any type of drug, and it'll complete that for you. You would say EpiPen cost me $600 per script, with insurance, without insurance, and you would be able to tweet this. And it's just another thing of, let's talk about cost. Let's change this because it's pretty much out of control. This is also a thing. If you wanted to gripe about your insurance company, let's say Anthem Blue Cross really screwed you over, you can go ahead and do that. And that would tweet out. So eventually I would like to implement this. I'm actually thinking about learning like iOS and do it as like a phone app. So maybe like learn Swift. So that's ultimately what I'd like to do with that.
Awesome. Thank you, Marcy. Yay, snaps. All right, you were way over, but you have so many cool features, so I let it happen. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Marcy. There's a lot there. So let's go ahead and open up to the panel. Questions?
I've got a question for you, Marcy. First of all, really cool app. I love how passionate you are, and you have like a fully feature complete app from Bootcamp, which like this is definitely the like most feature complete app I've seen come out of a bootcamp. This is really awesome. I was hoping you could tell me a bit about how you got your print function to work for printing the letter after someone enters and text into the box. Can you tell me a little bit about like what your approach to doing that was?
Oh yeah, it's actually not what I wanted to be at all. I wanted to have a clipboard function where you would do the clipboard, and I also wanted to generate a PDF. But I read a lot of blogs and posts about the PDF generators not interacting with Heroku well. And I knew eventually I'd be pushing to Heroku, so I didn't really want to mess with it. It's literally just a print button that I found, and that's about it. And as far as the text boxes, they're just HTML text boxes where I'm hiding the borders. Cool. It was actually probably one of the most simplest things that I thought was going to be hard, but it really wasn't once I really looked into it.
Yeah, it's like impressive functionality.
Yeah, thank you.
I've never done that, so it's super cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marcy, I'm really blown away by the breadth and depth of this application. It's really cool, and it's great to see you able to actually launch it and get that domain, selfpayrate.com. So it looks like you're going to take this all the way, which is incredible. What would you say, and I know that this question has been asked to some of the others, what would you say is the most challenging piece of this? Because I know you have a lot of features, and curious to know what was the hardest for you.
Probably the database, the relational database from that text file. putting that together and getting the relationships just right and making sure that the data was accurate, because that was the most important. If the data is not accurate, what am I doing here? You know, I'm giving people wrong information. That's probably the most difficult.
Is that file just a simple, I saw you demonstrated it, but is it just a long CSV file basically?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you find that there was any bad data in there?
No, it came right from Medicare's website and they update it quarterly. So I didn't find any bad data. There was just a lot of workarounds that I had to do.
Okay, this was awesome. Nice job. Very impressed.
Thank you.
Sweet. Thank you so much, Marcy. I'm actually very impressed with how snappy her site is running, knowing how many thousands and thousands of lines in the database she has. She has a giant database of Medicare information, which is really cool. Cool. Thank you so much, Marcy. The next person that I'm going to have presenting is going to be Jaren. Jaren's already ready to go. He's ready. All right, Jaren, floor is yours.
Okay. Who's nervous? You're nervous? I'm not nervous. Okay. My name is Jaren Branham, and my app is ShareCastle. The idea behind ShareCastle came from wanting to combine the power of Wikipedia with the structure that we have in a cohort. Then it kind of evolved from there. Using my app is pretty simple. It's broken down into 4 easy steps of signing up for a free account, creating your own castle. We'll get more into that later. And then filling that castle with information you want to share with others, and then inviting others to join your castle or even contribute to your castle. So let's go ahead and see what that might look like. Now I've created a demo account in advance to really show the versatility of what my app can do. This is our castles page where you can decide if you want to go into a castle that you've created or a castle that you've joined. Let's first look at the angle of creating your own castle. And one angle I really want to use with this is a mentor to peer structure. So let's try creating a Actualize castle. Okay, now using pay-per-click Gym, I've added an option to add an image to your castle, and it really just helps bring it to life and make it really feel like, okay, this is a work environment now. Now, this is the home page that you're going to have for your castle. It's going to give you the option to either add a new topic, go straight to a topic that already exists within the castle, or invite new members to your castle. So building a castle on your own can be a little bit tricky. So let's go ahead and look at inviting a new member to our castle. And I've heard Jaren's a really good stand-up student, so I'm gonna add him. Okay, once we've added once we've added a member to our castle, we can access members in that members tab here, and we can see everybody that's inside of the castle who has access to view it. And as a member, they can view it, but they can't do anything about editing or contributing new information. So I did add a permission role so we can add admins, and now they can contribute to the castle. Or if I don't feel a user needs to access my castle anymore, I don't know why, but you never know, I can remove their access altogether, and now they can no longer view my castle. Now, adding a new topic is really easy. We just name it. And in this case, one of the things that we learned in Actualize might be, or Danny might would have taught us, is jQuery Ajax methods. Let's go ahead and create that. And this is our newly created topics page. Sorry, tongue twister. And let's start by contributing some information about maybe what is jQuery Ajax methods. And some additional information that might help us learn more about it is we use a resource. W3 Schools was really helpful in this class. So I'm going to go ahead and contribute a resource link. But I also have the option to add an image link or a video link. And those can also be viewed from my topics page here. Now, this castle, it's really young. There's not a lot to really look at. So let's take another view at how we might be able to use castle. And I've actually joined another castle in advance, the Starbucks. Starbucks, maybe I want to know a lot about Starbucks drinks that people have posted. So I joined the Starbucks castle, and you can see here's all the topics within the castle. And maybe I have an interest in blonde roast coffee right now. It will display nutritional information because that's what a member may have added, a resource link to the Starbucks page for the coffee, an image, and even a YouTube promotional video for the coffee. I like coffee. Let's see, okay. Some features that I wanted to add that I didn't really get a chance to was finding ways to really share your castle out. Unfortunately, with the invitation only right now, it's a little bit limited, but that's one feature I'm looking at adding in the future. More features in the future of adding would be, I'll talk about that later. Some struggles that I had building my app, learning that big code is very hard to mesh new things in it. In the class, Danny made it look so very easy to add new gyms and features to your website, but really the bigger your app gets and the more complex, the less seamless that becomes. And it very quickly became a train wreck when you're trying to add new features and such. Some of the features that I did struggle with was like a calendar feature or a chat room feature that isolated to each castle. So unfortunately, those didn't get a chance to make it in, but am looking at adding new ones in the future. And that's my app.
Cool. All right. Snaps. Woohoo. Good work, Jaren. Awesome. Great app. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the panel now for some questions.
Congrats, Sharon, on being I really like your app. And I also like coffee too. So I very much connected with your Starbucks castle idea. I'm interested in knowing, with regard to the videos that you're displaying, there's a YouTube video here. Are you doing that with a link, or do you actually have a copy of that video somewhere in your database?
So I do not store the video on the database. It's added through the resource link that I had displayed earlier. When you're adding a resource link, you can categorize it as not a resource link, but when you're adding a URL, you can categorize it as an image URL, a video URL, or a resource link. And if you select the video, it'll take a YouTube video and actually embed it on the website.
Very cool, thanks.
Yeah, this app is really impressive, Jaren. As soon as you could send me an invite, I'd love to join the Actualize Castle. This is really fantastic. Where did you get the idea? I know it's not a technical question. I'm calling it a castle.
It kind of just came, like, it's kind of funny because I was browsing names and really like, what should I call my app? What should I call my app? And Danny really just said it'll just hit you, or maybe somebody's going to call it something. And it kind of was just what Danny said. It just kind of hit me. I was like, Sharing Castle, I like it.
No, it's a great app. It's useful as well as technically impressive. So nice job.
Thank you.
All right, sweet. Thank you, Jaren. Yeah, I did tell the students that while you're working on your projects and somewhere along the way, the name might just hit you, and somebody will call it something and that'll just stick. And it's happened a lot of times. So yeah, I think it just came to him. Also, Heroku does this cool thing where it gives you kind of like an adjective and a name of something. And sometimes people actually will use that name too, which is kind of fun. All right. Sweet. Thank you, Jaren. Next student that we are presenting is going to be Jack. Jack, take it away.
Hello, everyone. I know most of you, some of I don't, but thank you for being here. So yeah, this is, I guess, a little bit of background. I graduated with a bachelor's in philosophy a few months ago, but I had a minor in computer science, and it was back and forth the entire time I was a student of like, which do I want to do? And philosophy went out just because the school I went to didn't have a great CS department, in my opinion. So yeah, Actualize was a great supplement for that education, and it's been a great experience. So I had a lot of fun making this project. So my project is called Looking for Group, or LFG for short, which is like a very popular term from like World of Warcraft days. Like it's just a call to action to, like a billboard, like posting like, I want to play with someone. So yeah, it's really just for finding, because in my experience, me and my friends, we have a lot of difficulty figuring out what games people want to play. Or if you play older games, their population counts are pretty low, so it's hard to find people to match up with. So I just wanted a way to implement your own game library that you already use through Steam, which is a really popular digital distribution platform for video games right now, and find people to play with. So to start with, this little splash screen, go ahead and log in as Angus and get redirected to the front page. And let's just go to my page. It's pretty simple. So I'm not really playing any games right now. So I can either go look at all the games, which I've pulled from, it's called the International Game Database, which is like pretty big order to fill. But anyway, I pulled the top 100 most popular games according to them, according like as of like 2 weeks ago. A little out of date, but what's important is you can look through, see if there's any games that, you know, grab your eye. I will say I'm not looking at games like Call of Duty, which have millions of people to play. It's not hard to find someone to play. But just for example, I can just add this, and I'll go back to my page, and I'm playing this. So that's one way of doing it, where you can just, you don't know what you want to play, you can just search around. You can look through user accounts, which these are just, I just generated these using a Faker gem. But you can see, here's all the games they're playing, and they may or may not be multiplayer. So I think another thing that's really cool is when I was growing up, I really enjoyed just watching people play games. I liked watching my brother play games. And so I also think this is also an acceptable way of like, hey, I want to watch this person stream, and I want to know exactly what they're playing. And so you can go look at their like Twitch stream or something. But anyway, another thing is I didn't want to reinvent any sort of technology that's really popular. I love Steam, the application. And so I use that as my primary source for video games. So I'm just going to link my game accounts. This is my actual Steam account, Good at Sports. I'm going to sign in through that and get redirected back. And so it doesn't look anything right here, but I can go to my games and I'll link my Steam games. And this is going to grab my entire Steam library from that API. And I can organize it by name or time played. I'm going to do that because it's more logical. This is like one of my favorite games. I'm going to add these just to advertise. This is what I'm looking to play. And I'll just add them. And yeah, so there they are. Okay, so some of them got added, some of them didn't, and that's because it's not visually impressive, but like this took so much time because it's basically I have one API talking to another API, so I'm pulling from one and then trying to make an entry or request to pull from another API and then add them. So I didn't iron out the kinks for that, but it works most of the time. And so yeah, you can just go look at that game. So it's a primary loop of what I've got going on right now, and some future features I wanted to work with were implementing more Steam integration, like just having your name more publicly available. And Discord is another application used a lot by people who play video games a lot, where it's just an easy way to find people to talk with, like a platform for communicating. So implementing that, maybe even having like, if they have applets, I don't know if Discord has worked a lot on their API in that way, but yeah. So I feel like a lot of people, their websites look really great, and I'm really jealous because I spent a lot of time working on like the guts, which are like less impressive on like a presentation. But I spent a lot of time just like, if I did put like one word on like what my project was, it's APIs. Like I worked with like 4 different APIs. I have an internal API talking between my front end and my back end and making sure everything gets exchanged correctly. But it was a lot of fun. I feel super confident working with any API or writing my own at this point. And I had a lot of fun doing this. It was a really fun learning experience, and I wish I had more time to work on it because there's always stuff that could be added. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's what I've been working on. So thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Awesome. Yeah, I have had the pleasure of staring at Jack's API stuff for a long time now, and it is quite complex what he's doing. And so this is really impressive that you pulled it out, and it looks awesome. I think it looks great.
Thank you.
Sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the panel for some questions now.
Yeah, I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
I think it was your echo talking to yourself.
Ah! Is Chelsea the only one talking? Sweet. Okay. Yeah, I agree. Integrating with APIs is, it can go either way. It can be fixed. And so I congratulate you on having done it so many times in this app. Are you getting the pictures from an API, or did you upload those yourself?
So basically, because the API I was using has a cap of 3,000 requests per month before they start charging you, I grab an ID once, and then I have to make another request and send that back, and then I get a full URL, and then I save that locally to the game entry. So it pulls from the API and saves like a local copy of like a title, the API ID, and an image URL.
Very smart. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this is really cool, Jack. I'm super impressed. Can you tell me more about the Steam integration? Is that an OAuth thing?
Yeah, it's a gem. It's OpenID or whatever. So it's someone wrote a gem for specifically Steam integration. So all I had to do was put in my API key in like an env file, and then I think it just, I don't remember. It was a lot simpler than you would think, but it was like you have to do like redirect. But yeah, it was someone wrote a really good gem that was really easy to use for that.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Jack. Also, I'm really loving this aqua blue color that you've chosen.
I know. Also, I just want to say this photo I just found randomly, like all the colors match, and that was like.
That photo is fantastic.
I know. It's great.
I'm so glad you added one in.
Yes, thank you. Last minute.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Our next presentation is going to be by Krunal. So Krunal, go ahead and take it away.
Can you guys see the screen? Okay. Hi, my name is Krunal Patel. I'm a civil engineer. Danny, something's wrong. There we go. Okay, so my name is Krunal. I'm a civil engineer. I had to take some coding classes as part of my studies, one of them being C++. So you can say coding has been a hobby of mine since college. So let me start off my presentation with a question. Do you guys buy products and then just forget about it? Like it's in your closet collecting dust? Well, that's pretty normal. We live in a materialistic society. We buy things we want, not just things we need. A couple of months ago, I was in my garage and I ran into this right here. This came out in 2006. And I don't even know when I bought this, maybe 2007, but check this out. It's brand new. I have yet to open this. 10 years later, and I have still not opened this product. So I thought, hey, why don't I make an app where you can keep track of everything you purchase? Voila, this is my app. So let me sign in right now and give you guys a demonstration. If you don't have an account, it only takes less than 1 minute. So once you log in, these are all the products that I have that I'm keeping track of currently. So first thing first, let's add the Nintendo Wii right now. Wii purchase price, I'm assuming I paid $250 for it. I'm not sure when I bought this, but let's say today. Brand new electronics, and I'll get the image right here. I don't have the receipt, and I'll talk more about this later, why this is important. So there we go. My Nintendo Wii is right here. We can sort by name. We can sort by purchase date. And we can also sort by categories too. So this shows all the products we have. Let's say, now let me give you a scenario. Let's say we're cleaning our garage and one day you ran into a tent. It brings back some memories, but now it's time to get serious. Do you keep the tent or do you sell it? So you go into this, search it, and look, you have 2 tents, and it's most likely this one. So now you have a description, outdoor tent. You paid $1,500 for it. It fits 5 guests, and the dimensions are 15 by 25. Now let's see here. You purchased it on Thursday, May 7th, and you last used it on Friday, January 1st. It's been more than 2 years since you last used this. Why do we need to keep this? We need to sell this. It's taking up space. So one of the features I want to implement in the future is an eBay API that lets you see the current value of your product. The eBay API is really good for used products, and since our products are used, it will give you a very good estimate of how much you can sell your product for if you want to sell on, say, Facebook or Craigslist classifieds. So let's say I sold this product. I'm going to delete it now. And it's gone. Let's look at another product. Let's look at this backup iPhone X. I have a backup iPhone X in case my regular iPhone is lost or damaged. I have not used this product yet. Do I really need a backup iPhone X? I don't think so. Let's delete this product too. I'm good to sell it. And this is my favorite feature, product summary. It shows you, it gives you a breakdown of everything you have by category. And now this is the main feature I want to add is download all receipts. Say this past 2 months, we've had so many disasters, earthquakes in Mexico, multiple hurricanes, and the fire in California. If you lose your house, you need the receipts to go to your insurance company and get reimbursed. Not only that, but say you go on a flight and the airline loses your luggage and you had a $1,500 Versace suit. Well, here is the receipt. You can go to airlines and say, hey, I have the receipt. I need my reimbursement. And what else? Oh, another feature I want to add in the future is an ability. Everything I've demonstrated right now is for the passive user. Someone who wants to be an active user, they can go into settings and request settings like say, hey, if I haven't used the app or if I have not used the product in 6 months, please send me a text or email notification. And that's for active users. I'm done.
Standing ovation. Yes. Amazing. True salesman, Kunal. Also, I want to commend you on being the only student to use a physical prop. That was awesome. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open the floor to the panelists for questions.
Yeah, Kunal. So this is awesome. First of all, I'm totally your target customer on something like this. I have 19 Android phones, 3 iPads, 3 iPhones. I have them because there's a reason I have them. I have them because I'm a mobile developer. I need to test things on different screen sizes. But then, like, I just have them. And if I'm not working on that device anymore, or that device gets outdated enough that people aren't using it anymore, those types of things. I just have all this technology, and a lot of it would probably sell on eBay, and I just don't put it up. So this would be super valuable. I am wondering which feature in here you found the most challenging to implement.
The most challenging was the categories. I went about it incorrectly. I did not create a relationship between my user and categories. I created a relationship between products and categories. And so when I was pulling the categories that each user has, I was having a huge problem, and it took a while to fix it. So relational database, I would say.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Can you tell me a little bit about what styling library you used, and if you used like a skin or if you did it all yourself, or like how'd you get it to look so good?
I used the theme. I purchased a theme online, and then it's actually a mix and match. I used some Bootstrap and then some of the theme's components.
Cool. Looks great.
I would not recommend mixing and matching.
Kunal, this is really good. I mean, after the showcase is over, we could talk about me purchasing the Wii off of you. But how did you implement the uploading of receipts and photos?
Paperclip. It's a gem that I learned from Danny and from this cohort. And it looks like Paper Gem is really such a nice gem. I'll be using it again in the future.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, this is a really cool app. And I definitely echo Chelsea's sentiment that I could probably use this too. You don't want to look inside my closet.
Thank you.
I do want to look inside your closet if there are unused Wiis in there. Okay, sweet. Thank you so much, Kunal. This is great. All right, my next student to present is going to be Willis.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Good. Cool. My name is Willis Chan, and I'm currently a program manager for a tech company. And basically, I started this app as a way to kind of express my love for like eating out at restaurants. I like to maybe organize events for friends. And basically, it's really hard to get everyone all together in like one place to kind of say like, hey, this is where we're going to go, this is when we're going to go, etc. So basically, I created this in the beginning just so that you can create an event and invite friends for them to join, just so everyone is on the same page. But I was thinking like, why not make this more of a social experience? So it became more of a food meetup. It's kind of like the website meetup, but primarily for food. So I'll kind of walk you guys through the app itself. This is the landing page where people can see if they're not logged in or they haven't registered, they can kind of see examples of what events are. So there's kind of like a carousel for you to kind of look at what open events, but since you're not registered, you can't join anything. So let's log into my account to kind of see what features there are. This is the basic login page. So once you're logged in, it's the same carousel for all events that you have not joined yet. And you can kind of flip through like, hey, there's a place to go to ramen. And since these are all public events, I can join it if I decide to. So let's say I want to get ramen. And look at this ramen. And then on this page, it'll have the event information, kind of like who's the host, where it is, etc. And then this is what the restaurant and kind of information on the restaurant. And this is a Yelp URL that kind of takes you to a Yelp page so you can get more information about it. There's also a message box which you can comment on if you join the event. And these are the attendees. So let's say I'm interested in this event. So I decided I want to join it. Once I join it, the message box opens up for you to post a message. I'll say, hey, everybody. And then I post this and I'll update the box accordingly. Yep. And then once I go back to my main page, this event should, it's loading. It should typically show up to your upcoming events right here. So you can see it right here. And then on the left side is all your host events, which are events that you created. So let's go through the next feature, which is if let's say you don't want to just join an event and you want to create an event and host one. This is the create events page. And this is where you can kind of enter the information on like what the event name is, description, etc. And then this is a list of restaurants that's pre-populated on the website. But let's say you can't find a restaurant and you want to find a new restaurant. There's a form here for you to fill out for you to find, like, let's say I want Italian food. And then I want it to be in San Jose. And then I'll do find restaurants. This is pulling from a Yelp API that basically pulls based on any type of keyword or restaurant name for you to find specific or find restaurants that's closest matched to it. And basically you can scroll down, this is top 20 matches and you can kind of see like, oh, the rating is 4.5, that's pretty good. And it's in San Jose. So I'll say, I want more details on this, on Antipasto. And this is pulling from the Yelp API for like kind of like the first picture on Yelp and additional information. So let's say this person, hey, this is the right place. And it's close, and this is pulling from the Google Maps API to kind of show you where it is. And let's say I want to create an event based on this restaurant. I'll do create restaurants. And now this restaurant is populated into the app where I can just choose it. And now I can say like Actualize meetup. Brunch on Sunday. Brunch on Sunday. And I don't know when Sunday, Sunday 19th, let's say it's 19th. And basically I'm creating the events right now. And once I'm done creating the events, this is the previous page that we had before, where you can view the event information. And if I would like to, I can edit event information if I need to change anything. And then once I go back to the events listing, which kind of shows you all either current events that you're hosting. So the event that I just created was right here, which is the most upcoming one. This is in chronological order. So these are all my hosted events. These are all like any other upcoming events that I've joined. These are all available events that I can join. And these are all past events, which I only have one. And so this is kind of like the MVP of my product. I think like my next features would be more of creating this more social experience, which is, let's say I go to any type of available events and I click on somebody like the host of this, which is George Washington, and kind of see there should be, I want to be able to add more information about this person. So where this person kind of has like more types of information about this, like kind of like what they like to do, et cetera. And then you kind of like start messaging people and like making friends on this. and also like join their events and go to events together. And other things I would like to do is utilize the Google Maps API more and kind of give you like directions on how to get to the restaurant, how long it's going to take you, the time and distance, and kind of just add more functionality there. Yep, that's it. Thanks.
Right on the dot again, Willis. Nice, good job.
That's right.
Sweet. Thank you so much, Willis. This is awesome. This turned out really, really well. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the panel for some questions.
Yeah, this is, oh, go ahead.
Okay, I will go ahead. Can you tell me about so it's actually just a question about functionality that I'm curious about. When you're logged in and you add a restaurant, if I log into my account, do I see restaurants that you've added, or are they added, like, are they your restaurants?
If the person that's creating the restaurant, it can be public to anybody else, but they won't be able to like edit it or do anything else with it. They can still see it as available.
Cool. So it just makes like a big pool, and like it's like crowdsourcing information basically.
Yeah. So like, for example, these upcoming events, or not these upcoming events, sorry, these featured events are events that other people have created that you have not joined or you haven't created.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, Willis, this is super impressive. I also have to say I'm grateful that after seeing Willis and Tram's capstone, that we also have Marcy's hospital capstone that I might need after using these. I wanted to ask you about the Yelp, using the Yelp API when you did a search for a restaurant. So I noticed that you used a combination of looking up a keyword as well as a city. How did you use that to get, like, how did you take that combination of two things and get the appropriate data from the Yelp API? Does the Yelp API allow you to enter both of those parameters?
Yeah, I think it's just one pool, and basically I'm pretty sure what it does is that there's a list of terminology that helps you match the restaurant, and probably in order is that it's going to be name of the restaurant first, and then if you can't find that, then it looks for the kind of like category of the restaurant. So it's just like, for example, if I put Papa John's, like it would show up Papa John's first. But let's say if I put up pizza, this might not be Papa John's. It might be like a category with pizza in it because it has a higher like hit from the Yelp API.
So do you when you make the API call, are you specifically saying that this parameter is the location and this parameter is the keyword?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah, this is a super impressive app. It also looks really nice as well.
Cool, thanks.
So yeah, congrats.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Willis. I just want to also point out that Willis was able to implement the Yelp API in like less than a day. It was really awesome. Really
it took me 2 days to figure out how to implement it.
But then once you figured out how, there it was. All right, sweet. Okay, and we have one more student who is going to present tonight. Last but not least, I'm going to hand it over to Ian.
All right, hello, my name is Ian Matthews, and before I joined Actualize, I was an auditor in San Francisco at an accounting firm. So the idea behind my app is I wanted users to be able to find other playing partners for sports they're interested in the city they're located in. So for example, if you wanted to play tennis in San Francisco, you could come to my webpage, search a bunch of other people that play tennis in San Francisco, chat with them, or create a new event and allow other users to join that. So let's get started by signing up. All right, this should take us to the sign up page. And we will go ahead and sign up a username, make them from San Francisco. The state will be California. We're not going to add a profile URL, so to give them a default picture, add the email, password, and then down here, we have a listing of all the sports in the database, and you can select whichever ones you're interested in. So I'll just select a couple for Stan over here, and we'll sign up. So this will take us to the user page, and it'll show all the users that are in the database, and it'll give us some basic detail about them, what city they're from, what sports they're interested in, and a chat button over here. And we can filter this further with these buttons. So let's say we want to look at golf in San Francisco. We can hit filter and it will narrow our search down. And then say we wanted to chat with someone, we could go ahead and hit the chat button. And that'll bring us to the individual chat page. and we can go ahead and message them. So let's see if I'm logged into this account on another page, and if I can message back, pops up right there. So this is done using action cables. So it's still done through Ruby, but it doesn't require page refreshes. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Then we can also look at the chats page, which has a listing of all current chats. So in this case, there's only one, and all the other users, which obviously are not current chats. So next, let's say you wanted to join an event or create an event, you would come to the events page. So over here, we have a Google map that shows all the current events that have been established. And if you click on it, it'll give you the title of that event. So if we scroll down, we'll see here are the 3 events. Once again, we can filter this a little further. So let's say Golf San Francisco again, filter. This will it'll zoom in on the map showing where that was. And it's going to be in the Presidio Golf Course in San Francisco. See it right here. And then here's the event. So we have a little detail, city, description, start time, end time, maximum number of athletes, and the current amount of athletes signed up. So there's 3 out of 5 people in the sport. So let's go to that page. So once again, we have a map view of where that's located, the detail over here, and a list of users that are already attending the event. So if we want to attend, we just hit the join event button, and that should put us on the list of attendees. There we are. If we want to leave, just hit the leave event button. And the other feature on this page is I added a comment section where any user can comment on this event, whatever they want to say. I did this a little differently than the chat. It's just, it's not done through action cables, so it requires page refreshes. So it's done using a normal Ruby model. And the only other feature is if you wanted to create a new event, you would go back to the events page, just hit new event, and it would bring you to the form to create a new event, and you can do that here. Ideally, what I would like to do further on this web page is allow users to set certain parameters, like the days they want to play, the times they want to play. And if that matches up with other users' parameters, it could automatically pair them, whether that's through a chat window or email, and then they can communicate to set up an event. Overall, I had a lot of fun making this app, and I think it turned out pretty well. Thanks for listening.
Awesome. Awesome job. Also, I love that your default photo is Pickle Rick. That's amazing.
Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick. All right, sweet. Thank you so much, Ian. Let's go ahead and open it up to the panel for some questions.
Ian, can you tell me about implementing Action Cable and like what the hard parts were and what the easier parts were? It's totally new with Rails 5, so I haven't used it yet. So maybe you can educate me.
Yeah, it was tough. There's a lot of videos out there. I was looking specifically for a chat using Action Cable, and I found a bunch of videos. Nothing was quite what I was looking for, or I tried to implement it and it didn't quite work. But eventually I found a tutorial on, I think it was on Medium. And I think Heroku has a pretty good one as well that shows you how to implement it. So I went through the steps and I customized it to my page, and I got it to eventually work.
Awesome.
Yeah, Ian, this is a super impressive app. I was also going to ask about the Action Cable because I've also never had a chance to implement it. So afterwards, Colleen and I will ask you to email us which tutorial you used. This is super impressive. It's also very, very sleek looking. Did you also use a theme for this?
Yeah, I did. It was fun to try to get that to work, but yeah, it turned out all right.
Awesome. Yeah, this is really, really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, most of these students are using a theme, and a lot of times actually using the theme turns out to be more difficult than implementing the styling yourself because you're using somebody else's code that you haven't seen before. And sometimes the theme will cause some things in your application to break that you didn't expect. So learning how to use somebody else's code and read someone else's code and debug things is another important skill that they learned while implementing these themes. Okay, that's all of my students. Yay, I'm so proud, guys. You guys did so well. I'll share my screen here. Okay. And I've got the lovely Actualize website background as my screen here. Okay, so first I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to Jay for some closing remarks. I know that he's really excited about this, and every single time I know that you see a lot of students graduate, but it's always like special and exciting. So Jay.
Yeah, thank you, Zanny. I just have to say that I'm super, super, super impressed. These capstones are amazing. People always wonder about the possibilities of online education, and these capstones are of equal quality to all the capstones that I've seen in our in-person locations. And there's even aspects of these that I've never even seen before in our in-person capstone app. So these are really, really impressive, and kudos to you for really pulling it off. I know the main celebration at this point is of our new graduates, but I do want to just take a minute to really, really thank the lead instructor, Danny, who is, as all the graduates know, is fantastic. She really brings her passion of teaching and coding to this. Launching the online live platform is something that was very new, and she just jumped right in and made this cohort, which is our largest online cohort to date, super successful. And I just really want to thank Danny for that. And also want to thank the TAs. If they're watching or if they watch this later, the TAs also play a really important part in making this happen. So thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much, Jay. It's really, it's the greatest part of this job is getting to work with the students and getting to work with people who are just so driven and so motivated and want to be here, and you guys, you spend so much of your time outside of your lives. You're taking personal time to be here and to learn. And I develop relationships with each and every student beyond just the classroom environment, beyond just a teacher and student relationship. We become friends and we graduate together. You guys are graduating this cohort and going off into the world to be web developers. And we graduate into friends after this, which is another really cool part of my job. So I really want to thank all of you guys for your incredibly hard work. I know how hard you guys have been working. I've been watching. I have been creepily spying on you guys while you're making your projects, and sometimes holding your handle on the way, and other times watching from a great distance. And I know how much work you put into this, and you all did an incredible job. And I really admire the passion and the dedication and the hard work that you brought to these projects. So thank you guys for making this a super awesome cohort and for making my job absolutely awesome. You're graduating. Oh my gosh, yay. Congrats to all you guys. My birds are leaving the nest. You won't need me anymore. That's the purpose of this, right? That's the purpose of this entire class, is so that you don't need me. And so that's what I tried to cultivate. And maybe I was a little harsh sometimes. And instead of giving you an answer, I would just look at you and ask a question or say, you already know the answer to that one. And the reason for that is really because I want you to graduate beyond needing my help and being able to teach yourself. That is the developer mindset. And that is what you guys are all adopting and going to go out in the world armed with, is that developer mindset. So congratulations to all of these students who are graduating today. You all did a fabulous job. I'm totally blown away by the applications that you made. And yeah, I'm really happy. Good job, guys. All right. And thank you to everybody who's watching on YouTube Live. We are going to be saving this broadcast, and I'll Slack out a link to anybody who's interested in viewing this broadcast at a later date. So you will have total access to this broadcast later on to rewatch it later, share with family and friends, all of that fun stuff. Cool. All right. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you next time. And
Bye.
Let's turn this off, if I can figure out how. I can't. It's going to go on forever. Okay, no, I got this.